And right now, I'm going to move to one of a very well-known company who's also based right there, the CEO of Cablenet, who would like to come up on stage, Mr. Yiannos Michaelides.
Hi, thank you.
Hi.
Morning, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm actually going to pick up on the previous discussion a little bit. There was a lot about human behavior, and I think that's a key component in a lot of the innovation and creativity that we see in this festival. But let me first start by telling you that about 4 years ago, 2 young people came to my office at Cablenet in Nicosia, and they started telling me about the businesses they started up, the businesses they sold. They were only 26 and 27 years old. And I said to myself, my God, what did I do wrong? At 26, I just finished my master's and I was looking for a job. So these guys actually wouldn't stop there. They wanted to move things, they wanted to shake things, they wanted to stir up the entrepreneurial spirit in Cyprus. And they created this beautiful festival, Reflect Festival, which you're here today. But what I was really impressed was not only the things they've done and they created, what I was impressed was that this was a story of inspiration. And inspiration is a key component in people actually starting up things, moving things, and changing their life. And this is why we, as Cablenet, are here. We're here not only for the great ideas and products and services that you've been listening to yesterday, today, and probably tomorrow as well, but we're here to support stories of inspiration. At the end of the day, we are storytelling animals, let's face it, and it's amazing how from a certain motivational story or speech, sometimes our life paths change. And I think that's what these guys try to do. They try to actually bring together a lot of the young generation in Cyprus, not me, and try to move them and shake them to start thinking about how to create something new. One great example is actually one of our customers, which is going to be the main speaker actually, Xenatus Global. And their story is like this. I mean, these are 2 young Lebanese that actually grew up here in Cyprus. They went to the US and Canada to study and work. And they had a vision to actually change how companies work. And they had a break. They had a break in the US, in Los Angeles. I'm not going to steal your speech, Fouad, so I'm not going to say the name, but they had a break from a very large company. And the rest is history. After 2 decades, they're in 45 countries. They have 500 direct global clients. They have 300 resellers. They have cutting-edge cloud-based solutions, both horizontally and vertically. And they're actually propelling their customers into the world of AI. And I think, again, what a great story that followed through all the way to a great establishment, and actually based here in Cyprus today. And I will close by what AI actually means for us at Cablenet, and I think for everybody as well. And I will not give a solution. I think I'll leave it to the experts. But I think for me, AI, the challenge of AI is the following is, we do all this work in our companies. We develop, in our case, we develop networks, we develop systems, we develop products. We go out there, we do a lot of effort to do a lot of things to achieve what? To actually convince you and everybody else to answer 2 key questions, only 2 key questions. The first one is, do I want to join this company? Do I want to become a customer? And the second question is, do I want to stay in this company? That's it. It's as simple as that. It's amazing how the complexity we have in our daily jobs ends up in your head answering these 2 questions. So our job is to unblock, understand consumer behavior in all its depth, which is quite complex because it's not logic. It's all embedded into a lot of emotion and logic. Understand that and try to influence perceptions and convince you that the answer to those questions is yes. And we try a lot. We try a lot at Cablenet, but I think that's the challenge that we put on AI, but I will leave it to the experts to answer that. So it's with great pleasure I would like to introduce one of the founders of Xenatus Global, Fouad, who will tell us all about his story. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you guys hear me? Yes, loud and clear. How do I get this thing to work? There we go. So, my name is Fouad Chaarani. Thank you, Yiannos, for the introduction. I'm one of the managing partners at Xenatus and one of the founders. I'm not going to go into the history of how old I am, but been around for a couple of decades. I sit on the board of several software companies, and I am the managing partner at Xenatus. But let's skip about me. As Yiannos said, at Xenatus, we really focus into 4 distinct industries, and that is finance, maritime, construction, and what we call trade. Trade as in distribution and a variety of things that come around it. What we provide our clients with is a platform that enables them to have the spinal cord of their operations running within it, and then all the intricacies that go around it, sorry, I guess I have to move this way. All the intricacies that go around it, all interconnected. As Yiannos said, we have offices around the world, many clients that go with it. I'll go to this. I've already seen some of my clients here today. Great seeing you guys. We work with clients ranging from Fortune 100 down to startups. And as Yiannos said, when we got our first break over 20 years ago, was with Universal Studios. It's one of the largest studios in the world. We provided them what we do, and they were with us for over a decade. So, enough about that stuff. Let's dive into actually what we're going to talk about. So, for the longest time, as we all work in technology in one way, shape, or form, technology and everything around it, and corporations, whether they are in private sector or public sector, they're running at the speed of light. All they want to do is simple things to solve their own client problems. At the core of it comes modernization. Everybody's been looking to modernize. People were running throughout the 2000s. We went through the dot-com boom into wherever we are, everybody looking to modernize, everybody looking to tighten their security, tighten everything around it. And as they're doing this, for a very distinct reason, the client, the end client now is a smart client. Whoever uses these services and technologies and solutions from clients, they are smart folks about what they want. They want their services now. They want their services running 24/7. You have to be able to adapt to them. They want digital payments in their form, mechanism, and the way they want it. They want things running at their pace, and the adoption is just increasing day by day, driving up. Like just a silly little example. My 3-year-old son goes up to the TV and flicks it, thinks it's an iPhone, trying to change it, and he gets mad. Why? He cannot flick it. Guys, I mean, as Yiannos said, the gentleman from KPMG earlier, the new generation is living in this era, and they're moving faster than we can fathom. Speaking of KPMG, this is actually a slide that I use quite a bit in my presentations, which I find to be really an amazing, insightful information about looking at where we are today and where we're headed. If you look at it, maybe you can't read it that well, but I'll just give you the highlights. The blue dots is AI. The first circle is 5 years. Second circle is 10 years. The next circle is 15 years. So looking within the next 5, 10, 15 years out, you have AI at the core of everything that's where we're headed, how we're headed, and what we're going to do about it. Based on digital platforms, moving into immersive experiences, moving further out where we're going to start getting into, within 15, 20 years, the concepts of human augmentation is starting to be no longer, if you will, no longer a guessing game. It's actually could be a reality as we go through this. As all this is running, and everybody running at 100 miles an hour, our friend COVID came around. And you guys probably cannot read this on the left side. As COVID came around, China went into lockdowns over here. China went into lockdowns, followed by the rest of the world. Some of our friends down under are actually still in lockdown. I was reading on Reuters today that they might extend their lockdown by an extra week. So, as everything was running, we went into a pause. That pause caused a change in the way we adapt, in the way we need to handle things. In Cyprus, we had a couple of lockdowns. We had our friend the text message that thank God that thing is gone. People went from conference rooms to living rooms. And we learned to adapt, and all of us learned to adapt, and it's really unbelievable how much we adapted. Imagine 5 years ago, you sitting on a conference call, and your child passes next to you, or you're on a conference call, your child sitting on your lap. People would have found it the rudest thing in the world. Now, when we were in this stage, and to a certain extent, many people still are, having a child on a conference call or on a Zoom meeting or on a Teams meeting, it's a normal thing. Nobody doubts it anymore. They tell you, no, take 5 minutes. Take care of your kid and come back. So we learned to adapt. As we're learning to adapt, several corporations around the world, like Microsoft, what they did is they wanted to measure what is happening during this process. What they found is that when you give people the flexibility, they will do more. So they were looking at the regular working schedule from 9 to 5. But guess what? 23% of people, up to 23% of people, if you look at the blue arrows and over here, they were working before 9 and they were working more after 5 because they had the flexibility and the ability and the solutions to do this. Same survey went around to employees and managers. As this went around, people said, listen, the new work from home or flexible schedules or flexible models and enable me to do this needs to be the new norm. 82% of managers surveyed said, guys, this is the only way forward going forward. As all this is running and we're looking at 10, 15 years out and so on, now let's look at today. Or throughout the pandemic. Throughout the pandemic, we had clients that called us, and many people feel like, just like these guys are holding the business on their shoulders. You feel that in many companies, in many organizations, that you're patch processing it. You're trying to patch it through Excels, and there's a guy or a lady that she's the only one that knows how to process that Excel, and if she leaves, then the company stops. So how are you going to get to the future if this is the way you operate? What we tell our clients every day we talk to them is the new normal is here. Industries are moving at the speed of light. We really, really need to look deep inside and say, are we ready for this? If we are ready for this, what do we need to do? Or if we're not ready for this, what is it that we need to do? There's a concept and a phrase that seems to be the new marketing buzzword that says the future of work. Everybody talks about the future of work. We need to look, everybody needs to look and understand what really is the future of work. Not this concept that people talk about that they don't know what it is. I really like this quote from the Wall Street Journal that says that the future of work transformation is a journey, not a destination. I'm not going to get there. There's no end in sight. I have to have a mechanism and a model to get me through the journey that I'm going throughout. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but if we start up here on the left side, back in the 50s, this was the computing division. Sure, we've all seen it on TV, we've all seen this. 70s, 80s, into the early 90s came around, we were drowning in paperwork. Things were crazy, how much we had to do this stuff. The dot-com era came around. People felt the luxury to be able to work from wherever they are. Our friend COVID came around. We moved into the house. Cats seem to be joining conference calls these days, right? What's next? Is it going to be robots taking over what we do and how we do it? Personally, I don't think so. But I think there is a path. And the path that we talk to all of our clients, and we do for all of our clients, is what we call service and data-driven platforms. You have to look at data and intelligence of that data at the core of your business. You're collecting all this information in emails, in spreadsheets, in systems, and so on. But what is it for? I need to use it in order to engage my customers, benefit my workforce by empowering them throughout this data that I'm gathering, optimize my operations, and help me transform and evolve my products and my business that come behind it. All this is fantastic. I can build the greatest systems in the world, I can build the greatest platforms in the world, the greatest company in the world. But if I don't have connectivity, if I don't have my communications, if I don't have my ISPs, if I don't have my telephony, if I don't have my mobiles, if I don't have these things customized to the way I want to do my business, secured for the way I need to run my business, and at the speed that I want it, none of it means anything. So, this is what at Xenatus we do. We deliver what we like to call the adaptive enterprise. When we look at the adaptive enterprise, it's a holistic platform that allows a corporation in a variety of industries to be able to have everything centralized and interconnected. The way we do this is we have an ERP that's from Microsoft, and what we done is we banked on some of the best providers in the world. We said, we're going to go with Microsoft for telephony in Cyprus. We're going with Cablenet. We backed the solution of how it goes, and we built a platform that provides, whether maritime, construction, education, distribution, very specific niche industries that we work in, a ready-made solution that fits into the way they do things. As that fits, everything has to work together. And this is what we have, what's called the common data model. The common data model allows all my interconnectivities to work. As they're allowing them to work, I have my Office 365. Inside my Office 365, I want my telephony. I want my phone number here on my mobile. This is what Cablenet in Cyprus is able to provide us, integrated into my Teams. We have a deep integration into it. Our solutions allow deep integrations into banking around the world. Not going to go into RPA and IoT and all the buzzwords that go behind it. We do a lot of work for different clients in mixed reality. Everything is interconnected. And today, I'm going to focus a little bit more around AI and data mining. So the concept behind our platform is that I put the spinal cord in, and I have everything interconnected natively. No one is learning on you. No one is trying to guess what it is that you do. On the contrary, we're bringing the right models into place to help the organizations adapt and adopt. So when we talk about AI, this is a big fancy buzzword also, right? But what is really AI? Is it going to replace what I do? Is it going to replace my job? Is it going to take? On the contrary, what AI really does has three pillars, and that is decision automation. It's going to help me based on a model that I define and I structure in it to help me make my decision, and it will get rid of the rudimentary, tedious tasks for me out of the way. So I can focus on brain work that comes behind it. It provides decision support. It gives me the ability as a human to make the right decision by feeding me the information at the right time. And lastly, augmentation. It works with me to go through this. That sounds great. You guys are going to say, but AI is futures ahead. Not really, guys. Let's look at everyday life. Today, all of us, everyday life. I was just talking with Yiannos. I was telling him, I kite surf. As a kite surfer, I check the wind every day. And checking the wind every day, and some of us check the weather and so on. This is AI-based. We live in Netflix, right? Our children live inside Netflix. We watch it. How it guides you, how it works with you, what it does for you as a consumer is AI-driven. YouTube, the way you flow, the way it guides you, all AI-driven. So as an end consumer, AI is in everyday life for us, whether we like it or not. Now, as corporations, this is a study that was done between North America and various other European countries by PwC that looked at the AI adoption in corporations. 86% of corporations are investing aggressively and heavily into AI to help them provide a better experience. Help them, 75% are providing them to improve decision-making, innovate new products. It's here to stay, ladies and gentlemen. And it's driving us and going down the path, so we need to get on board with it. Now, from an AI perspective, the Xenatus model, part of our platform, starts with the way we grab data. We can grab data from any systems, any source, any information that has, whether structured or unstructured data, whether it's in Excel, whether it's databases, whether it's knowledge bases, whether it's web things, whatever it is. We take that data, we store it in, not going to get technical on it, what's called data lakes and data warehouses, which allows us to store structured and unstructured data, marry the two together, using an AI mechanism to feed the information to the right people to make the right decisions. At the end of the day, I am flowing through the chain to enable the decisions. As Yiannos said, Cablenet, they have two decisions to make, right? So you would need different type of information coming at you to make that judgment call, to know whether you're going to call your end client and say, listen, I'm going to make you a different deal. I'm going to help you with this. How are you going to make it? You cannot go off of anything else. These are some real examples. Let's talk about AI in data warehousing. AI can help me predict what's on my shelves. When do I have to restock? How do I have to restock? What's finishing? What's not finishing? How are people going to pick things off the shelf and bring it back? This is real-life example that operates today. The one on the bottom right is not a Xenatus example. It's something that I just wanted to show you to make a point on it. This is in Singapore Airport. In Singapore Airport, there's a billboard up top with a camera hidden, and there's a billboard below it. The billboard up top recognized this is a 65-year-old female. The AI went through, processed it, came back down below, and served her an advertisement of Health Pack. So we're learning. The systems are adapting. They're serving you what you want and the way it goes. Now, everybody's going to say, that sounds great, Fouad. You're talking about a lot of technology, a lot of investment, a lot of things. But what's in it for me? How will it benefit my business today? Guys, it's a $2.5 trillion industry by 2025. Just let me say that again. $2.5 trillion industry by 2025. We're 2021, 4 years away. Whether it is support, whether it's agents, you know, people say, I don't like the chatbots, I don't like to get on chatbots, but guess what? They do use them. And if you make it more adaptive to the way you do business, serve the customer better, give them the right information at the right time, they will use it. You're able to grow bigger, retain the same knowledge base, the same human base that go along with it. So, what I look at with this, whenever we talk to clients, we tell them, you need a platform to secure your business. You need to gain insights on your customers and trends that go with it. You have to build loyalty. I mean, I have options. As a consumer, I'm a smart consumer. I can go anywhere. So how are you going to keep my business, right? You have to find ways with these technologies, with these platforms, that will enable you to reach new lucrative markets. Automate your operations. No more patchwork, no more manual processes. Guys, the technology's here. It's been here for a while, and it's just getting more advanced. And capitalize on efficiencies and new technologies. The options are clear, very clear in our mind and in our client's mind. Either you evolve or fade away. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, what we tell everybody, get on a platform. Whether you're going to get on an integrated platform with Xenatus or with somebody else, doesn't matter. Get on a platform, otherwise you're going to get left behind. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Fouad Chaarani from Xenatus Global. Thank you very much. Now, we do have some questions from the audience. Are you ready to take some?
Absolutely.
If you haven't done it already, log on to slido.com, use the code REFLECTFEST, and join the Old Port Room. There's 3 rooms. There's one at Marina Beach, there's one at the warehouse, but we are here at the Old Port. So ask your questions on this slide. Now, of course, you did mention a few things, but you forgot to mention that you're also a little bit of a Cypriot. I mean, we went to school here, we grew up here, and there's more Cypriot blood in you than any other thing. So
that is absolutely true.
And when I talked to someone who had just arrived to Cyprus 1 year ago and has already got 300 to 400 employees coming from abroad, and to see that and to see also foreigners in Cyprus that have also made it, makes me very, very happy to see, and to see how our city and our country is moving forward technologically and in hospitality as well, which I'm also trying to boost that part. So until those questions come up, right after this one, we have one more chat, and then we will break for lunch. And if you haven't visited the other venues, make sure that you check on our website, reflectfest.com, and you'll know exactly what is happening and where it's happening. If you don't know how to get to the warehouse or to the Marina Beach, it's very easy. Just open up the map and it'll guide you. Now, we do have a few questions coming up. Let's start with this one. What is the most innovative AI product released most recently?
Whoever asked this question, we released or released globally?
So let's do both. What have you released and what has the world released then?
So we're working with several clients in the maritime and in the financial services. And the type of AI products that we're providing them to help them understand, for example, a vessel that's going from one place to another. As it's arriving at the other place, it's consuming petrol, it's consuming fuel, it's consuming many things. I don't know if you guys know about dry docking, is when you clean the bottom of the boat. That cleaning of the bottom of the boat can save you hundreds of thousands of euros on the actual boat process. So this is like a model to predict when do you have to go into some of these maintenance. What services does your company provide? We provide a platform. This platform is pre-configured, pre-customized, based on industry standards, the industries that we work in, for those industries. That, again, gives the ERP, which is the spinal cord, provides Office 365, that gives you the collaboration suite. Integrated with it is telephony in Cyprus through Cablenet. Integrated with it is banks, processes, all the gizmos that come behind it. For those of you guys who don't know what an ERP is, it powers corporations. So everything that you do inside a company, run through an ERP. And our services are to provide these solutions to our clients.
Should we take one from Yiannis Pavlou? I have to say, he's very popular. He comes up in every single Slido. Where is Yiannis? You're pretty popular on the questions. Oh, there you go. Hi, Yiannis. So, and he's asking, the IT revolution resulted in sustained budgets, some dissatisfaction on rate on investment. How it will be different due to the new tech this time?
So that's a really good question. Can't give you a straight answer on it. I can dance through it, but I can't give you a straight answer, and I'll tell you why. Because in order to measure your ROI, you have to understand what your end game is going to become. Where do you want to head? How do you want to head with it? And you have to understand what you're doing today. So if I have 25 people that are sitting there doing manual work of patching things together and so on, can I not put a platform to not replace them, but to help them do this? And my customer base, let's say, is a couple of hundred clients. But guess what? If I can give them a solution that gets rid of the manual work, maybe I can grow my customer base from 200 to 500 to 700 to 800. So that's how the new technology drives the ROI behind it.
So let's take another one. What's the best thing for me to do now as a small business owner? You keep doing that while I'm reading, so I don't get left behind.
I have 3 words. Get on a platform. That's it. You got to get on a platform. Whether big or small or medium size, whatever it is, if you're not on a platform and you're still running segregated systems and things and so on, I'm sorry, as a small business, you're never going to grow. It's just that simple. You might grow, but you're going to dump a lot of money into this.
Do you already have integration of your customer support with AI?
Absolutely.
Reza? Also a popular question asker. Let's go to Edmund. What can you tell us more about the voice over IP and Teams integration?
Excellent question. So Teams, as we know it today, provides us our regular day-to-day communications, right? What we have done with our platform is we have built an integration, tight integration into Cablenet, where our clients utilize their solutions off of Teams. My extension to my office is right here. My voicemails, my access to everything. More importantly than all of this, today there are data protection models and laws that are in place that you have to secure it. So when you're using a VoIP solution, and many people tell me, I'm going to put a PBX in my office and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Guys, the question is, what about your security? Show me how you're going to meet DPA models. Show me how you're going to meet the security models. The amount of money you're going to have to invest in this is tremendous versus getting on a cloud platform that is constantly serving you this. And this is why, as I said, we banked on the framework of Microsoft. Microsoft today spends $20 billion on R&D, with a B, $20 billion on R&D. So take $20 billion in R&D and utilize it at your fingertips at pennies on the dollar, and tie it into Teams, tie it into your EP, tie it into your platform, tie it into everything that you do.
Let's do one more. What do you advise graduates that want to join an AI industry?
Give me a call. We are actually, as Xenatus, what we do is we run boot camps. And I know many, many companies that do the same, where these boot camps, we bring fresh graduates, put them in, train them, teach them, evolve them in what they do. So as somebody that's trying to join and trying to get into AI, you can learn about coding and different things and so on. But unless you work in an organization with a platform, with things that go around it, you're kind of closing your eyes and doing this, right? Team up with a company that is going to invest in you, and you're going to invest in the firm in order to grow with it.
Let's do one more. How do you distinguish your ERP from the competition?
The way we distinguish our ERP is not, let's just start at the beginning. We use the Microsoft ERP that is heavily, heavily customized and configured for our clients out of the box. So we provide them with a ready-made solution based on industry standards. The way we distinguish it is, one, you have Microsoft behind it. Number two, it is certified by Microsoft for the industry, the way we've customized it and so on. And we have over 500 global customers around the world using it.
I think we've run out of time there. I'd like to thank you very much. Fouad Chaarani, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
And of course, a big thank you to the Cablenet CEO, Mr. Yiannos, who brought you up as well.
Thank you very much.